Hola mis amigos, we're making a low-carb Cajun crawfish and shrimp casserole. This recipe is going to come together pretty quickly here because we are working with seafood, so it's going to cook fast. But we are going to, of course, be adding our casserole to the oven, so that's really where some of the time is going to come from. But all in all, this will be a quick recipe. Here I am working on sauteing 2 cloves of minced garlic along with about a tablespoon of butter. And we are next going to right away start adding our seafood in, and that consists of 1 pound of crawfish tail meat and 1 pound of shrimp. And straight to that, we're going to add our seasoning. And here we have 1 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I'm just gonna add all of that right in. And then we're going to just kind of cook this up until the shrimp is just pink, and then we will carry on with the rest of the recipe. Okay, so now our shrimp is nice and pink, and I forgot to mention that my crawfish tail meat was already cooked. I do have a harder time getting my hands on crawfish up here in North Texas, but when I lived in Southeast Texas it was a lot easier, so I'm just working with what I have. So to that I'm going to add 1.5 cups of heavy cream. And if you're familiar with my mac and cheese videos, then you'll know that that's what I'm making. I'm making my mac and cheese base for this. And we are going to get that to just start to bubble up. Not necessarily a full rolling boil, but as soon as you start to see some bubbling, we're going to go on to the next step. Okay, we're starting to get some bubbling, and that took virtually no time at all. So next we are going to add 2 cups, also known as 8 ounces of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. And honestly, I'm using extra sharp cheddar cheese. It goes really well with crawfish. And we're just going to combine this until we have ourselves a beautiful cheese sauce. Okay, so now we have a wonderful cheese sauce going here. And I almost forgot, we are going to add 1 tablespoon of freeze-dried chives, and these are of course going to wake right up in our sauce. But if you don't have this, or you just want to use fresh, then that would be fantastic. I could also see some spring onion or green onion working very well in here as well. And now that I'm looking at it, probably some parsley for that pop of color, but the chives are going to do just fine for me. If you are using fresh, I would say about 1/4 cup or so of the chopped chives. And I did give this a taste, and I wasn't too happy with the amount of Cajun seasoning. It needed a little bit more, so I went ahead and added an additional half a teaspoon, and that made it perfect. I am making this recipe up as we go along, as I do for a lot of my recipes, so that's just what it's about. You have to try it and see how it is. So now at this point, this is where you would usually add in your pasta. I would add about 1 pound of pasta, but we are making this low carb, so I am using cauliflower instead. And here I have 12 ounces of cauliflower, and I am thinking it's not going to be enough. You would want at least a pound. So I may end up coming back and adding more. This actually doesn't look too bad. But, I don't know. I might end up just staying with this. This is 12 ounces of cauliflower, but go for a pound instead. But I think I'm okay with this because I am liking the meat to pasta ratio here. So I'm going to stick with it. And we're just letting this kind of heat through, but remember we are baking this as well, so at this point we are good to go ahead and add this to our baking dish, which I am about to do right now. So now we're just getting everything added into our 13 by 9 inch baking dish. And I didn't want to regret not adding that extra cauliflower, so I did go ahead and add another 4 ounces of cauliflower to bring it up to the 1 pound of cauliflower, and I'm very happy that I did that because it looks great. So I'm just going to spread this out evenly in our pan. And last but not least, as you might have guessed, you guys know I love my cheese, so I'm going to add some more sharp cheddar cheese right on top. Don't really have, there's the oven. I don't really have a measurement for the cheese, but I would say about half a cup to a cup, so I guess 2 to 4 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese. You just want to add enough to cover the top. And then I have preheated my oven, as you just heard, to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're just going to pop this in there and allow this to bake for about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. We just want to melt the cheese and get all of the flavors to come together that we have added to the dish. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now, and we will be back with the finished product. Cajun crawfish and shrimp casserole. Enjoy, and I'll see you at the dinner table.